Was Jungkook being followed again? The airport incident that sparked a riot among security. It was supposed to be a routine arrival, a world-famous idol returning to international ground. But what unfolded at the terminal gates of Los Angeles International Airport quickly spiraled into something far more disturbing, far more personal, and far more dangerous than anyone could have anticipated. Multiple eyewitnesses reported seeing a sudden burst of panic ripple through the baggage claim area just moments before Jungkook was scheduled to exit. Uniformed security agents began moving swiftly, intercepting a man in what appeared to be airport staff attire, high-visibility vest, ID tag, clipboard in hand. But something was off. He wasn't moving toward any luggage or flight manifest. Instead, his path was aimed directly toward Jungkook's exit route. The man was tackled before he could make contact, but not before causing a wave of confusion and alarm among both fans and on-duty personnel. Within seconds, airport security cordoned off the area and pushed onlookers back, while Jungkook was immediately rerouted through a separate exit, shielded, silenced, and whisked away in a convoy of black vans. The identity of the suspect was not released publicly, but murmurs began circulating almost instantly online. Whispers that this wasn't just any crazed fan, but the taehyung, one who had haunted Jungkook's movements for over 3 years. Fans with sharp memories recalled a stalking case from late 2022, when a man reportedly followed Jungkook's car for over 30 minutes in Seoul, even after being warned multiple times by police. The case ended in a restraining order, but no criminal charges. Now, years later, the resemblance in description and behavior was too uncanny to ignore. Was this the same man? The possibility sent a chill through the ARMY community. Fans flooded social media with fury, fear, and fierce love. How is this still happening? Read one comment. Another, more heart-wrenching. What will it take for them to finally be safe? The gravity of the situation became heavier when security insiders confirmed that the suspect had attempted to use a forged staff pass, an act that required planning, resources, and a disturbing level of obsession. This wasn't just a moment of desperation. It was calculated, premeditated, stalking in its purest form, and Jungkook. He never made a public statement, but those close to the scene said his face was calm, perhaps too calm. A sign of someone who has lived too many times with the possibility of danger. A man who, despite unimaginable fame and love, has learned that eyes are always watching and not all of them are kind. Behind the scenes, Jimin was reportedly the first to be notified. Serving in the military but remaining emotionally tethered to his brothers, he was allegedly informed through a private security channel within minutes. One unnamed staffer claimed that Jimin's first reaction was deadly serious silence, followed by a simple but chilling message: "This is not over." It's not clear what Jimin meant by that. Was it a warning to those who crossed the line? A vow to increase protection? A declaration of emotional war against a world that continues to threaten the people he loves? Whatever it was, fans took it to heart. The hashtag #ProtectJungkook began trending within minutes of the incident, followed closely by hashtag #WhereIsJimin, hashtag #JungkookStrong, and hashtag #SaySingOut. It was more than fans' solidarity. It was grief in digital form, a cry from millions who, despite being strangers, feel a personal need to shield someone they've never met from pain they understand too well. Airport security has since confirmed that protocols are under review, with potential updates to how celebrities are escorted through high-traffic zones. But for many, these measures come too late. The breach happened. Jungkook was nearly face-to-face with someone who should never have been within 100 meters of him, and this time, Jimin wasn't physically there to intervene, which perhaps explains the growing theory that the two are now operating with an unspoken agreement. Emotional surveillance, if not physical. That Jimin, though in uniform, serving his country, still finds ways to watch, check in, protect. Whether through discreet messages, coordinated teams, or simply a sixth sense that activates every time Jungkook's name enters the danger zone. There's a recent quote fans have resurfaced from a 2018 interview with Jimin, in which he said, "I want to be someone who stays behind him, so if he falls, I catch him." No one thought it would become this literal, as of now. The suspect is reportedly in custody for questioning. Airport authorities have declined to comment on whether he will face legal action, though public pressure is mounting fast. Lawyers familiar with international stalking cases warn that jurisdictional challenges may arise, especially when fan actions blur the line between criminal and obsessive. But armies aren't waiting on the courts. They're mobilizing. Petitions, fundraisers, organized fan reporting units. Every tool is being activated with one goal in mind: ensuring that Jungkook and all of BTS never have to live in fear again. Still, the emotional toll is unmissable. The boy who once sang "Still With You" with a trembling smile is now guarded like a diplomatic figure. The man who gave the world his heart through music is learning how many want to touch that heart, not with love, but control, and through it all, Jimin watches. From afar, perhaps, but never absent. Because when you've walked through fire with someone, you don't let them burn alone. This incident wasn't just another sightseeing encounter. IT was a warning shot, and Jimin, Jungkook, and every fan who loves them heard it loud and clear. Airport panic. The look in Jimin's eyes said everything, and it wasn't forgiveness. He didn't shout. He didn't flinch. He didn't even speak. But the sharpness in his eyes, the sudden stiffness of his jaw, and the way he turned his head toward the woman trying to snap an intrusive photo of Jungkook said more than words ever could. Seconds before security rushed forward to intercept the sightseeing fan who had crossed the line, leaning dangerously close with a high-powered zoom lens aimed straight at Jungkook's face, Jimin had already reacted. It wasn't dramatic. It was silent, calculated, protective. The kind of stare that doesn't ask for permission. The kind that commands action. And in a heartbeat, action followed. Security surged forward, the crowd parted, and the woman was pulled back. Screams echoed as fans watched the chaos unfold, not knowing if what they were witnessing was a real threat or just another moment in the never-ending game between fame and obsession. But what they did know, what everyone could feel, was that Jimin's glare was unforgettable. Not just because it was rare for him to show anger in public, but because it came from a place deeper than frustration. It was the look of a man who has seen someone he loves suffer for too long. A man who refuses to stand by any longer. And for a split second, the internet held its breath, because when Jimin, usually soft, calm, composed, locks eyes with danger, it means something is very, very wrong. The incident, which unfolded in seconds but felt like an eternity, quickly went viral. Fan cams and smartphone recordings captured the moment Jimin spotted the threat. The exact second his face changed. The instant his body stepped slightly in front of Jungkook's. The moment security responded, perhaps not even to the sightseeing, but to Jimin's eyes, armies around the world erupted with emotion. He didn't have to say a word. One fan wrote on X. He became the alarm. Others compared the footage to moments from BTS's past when Jimin instinctively moved to shield members without hesitation on stage, in airports, even during rehearsals. His body language has always been protective. But this was next level. It was terrifying and beautiful. The moment added yet another layer to the growing mythology of Jungkook, not as a romantic fantasy, but as something far more intimate and real. A brotherhood forged under pressure, fire-tested by fame, and rooted in something no camera can quite capture. It's not just that Jimin saw someone trying to violate Jungkook's privacy. It's that he felt it before most even noticed. It's that his body moved before the threat became visible. It's that he didn't wait for permission to act. For many fans, this wasn't about sightseeing culture. It was about survival instincts. It was about loyalty. It was about a man who's watched Jungkook give everything, his youth, his voice, his sanity, and finally reached a breaking point. And maybe it's been coming for a while. Recent sightings of Jungkook at airports, especially his solo arrival in America, have stirred increasing concern about his safety. His quiet demeanor, the tired look in his eyes, the way he often walks with his head low, despite having millions of fans cheering him on. And now, after a week filled with mounting threats, sudden travel, and unexpected incidents, this one breach, this one camera pushed too far, was the one that cracked Jimin's composure. Because in the end, there are things Jimin can forgive. But not this. Not when someone tries to take something from Jungkook that isn't theirs. Not when they reach past boundaries, past security, past decency, to violate the last bit of space he has left. Not when Jimin knows better than anyone what that kind of violation does to a soul. In a previously unearthed letter from 2019, Jimin once wrote, "Sometimes I want to hold everyone away from him. I wish I could build a wall so he can just breathe." And at that airport on that day, that's exactly what he became, a wall. A shield. A silent fury wrapped in a Dior jacket. The woman was removed. No injuries were reported, but the message was sent and received loud and clear. To every Saesyang who thought Jungkook would always be alone in these moments, he's not. To every doubter who wondered if military service would weaken the group's bond, it didn't. And to Jungkook, who barely had time to process the chaos before being rushed out through a back corridor, there was one final glance over his shoulder. He saw Jimin still standing, still watching, not smiling, not speaking, but present, always. Security has since been upgraded. Airport officials are reviewing how the woman bypassed standard protocols. Some claim she posed as media. Others believe she forged a press badge. Regardless, one truth remains unshakable. She got close. Too close. And it was Jimin. Not metal detectors, not badges, not scanners. Who caught her? In a world where idols are expected to smile through trauma, to endure violation with grace, to let strangers treat their lives like public property, Jimin chose something else. He chose fury. He chose fire. He chose protection, because there's a limit to what even angels can endure. And on that day, Jimin stopped being an idol. He became a guardian, and the world won't forget it.